So, 2 for the price of 1. Moments ago, we got the first official screenshot for WWE 2K20 featuring Brock Lesnar, and now we have the second, this time featuring the huggable one, Bayley. Now you can check out the first screenshot via the link in the description box below to my previous video, but what do you think? What do you think of this screenshot? Now again, just like in my last video, I will mention it. No idea if it is going to happen, but could Bayley being revealed as the first screenshot of a female superstar for this year's game have any indication towards the cover star? I mentioned it with Lesnar. That would mean that Lesnar would return as a cover star. He was the cover star in 2K17. But for Bayley, this would be a huge opportunity to follow up her being Women's Champion on SmackDown Live. So, just putting that out there. Now let's talk about this screenshot. Now this one is quite interesting. The previous one we saw, we got up close and personal with Brock Lesnar. It was all about his model. Whereas this one, we're getting a better look at the Monday Night Raw arena. We're seeing a wide shot, and of course we're seeing the back of Bayley, so we don't know how well her face was scanned. However, the attire for Bayley does look really good. You're getting to see how the materials are going to work for this year's game, because the jacket has a certain shine to it, then the tights have a different texture, and then you've got the patterns on the tights which again have a different vibe. They've got a sparkle vibe. So I think Bayley's attire is a really key one to showcase the material improvements for this year's game, and I'm impressed in that department. Now I will have one criticism of this screenshot. I'm not entirely sure why 2K have allowed this to stay in, because you must take into consideration that these are the first looks that we're getting of this year's game. We got the Lesnar screenshot. Everything looked perfect. But this one, I don't know if it's been rushed. You'd have to think to yourself, why would you rush it? You've had so much time on your hands to plan this out, to make this right, to get the perfect screenshot. And unfortunately, what we see in this screenshot, and this is just me because I'm thinking about it as a first impression, we unfortunately have this white border running around the top of the arena, which is where an LED would be. You'd either have the Raw LED, or you should have, in this instance, because it's Bayley's entrance, you'd have a Bayley LED. But you don't have that. Instead, you've got this white border, so it could just be that at part of Bayley's entrance, you have a flash of white, and that's just been captured in this shot. No problem, but I do think it would have been nice to not have that white border running around this screenshot, because it stands out to me and it just makes me think, are the LED boards working okay? So I don't know if anybody else has picked up on that, but I definitely think it needs to be mentioned, because we should be critical. We should talk about the positives and the negatives, as this is the first impression of the game after all. Now removing that, everything else looks pretty good. The arena looks nice. You can't see everything. I think 2K have been very smart and very restrictive with these first 2 shots. You don't take too much away from it. They've been quite clever, but they are giving you a bit of a taster of potential improvements, particularly with Lesnar's body. It looks much more defined this year, and now with Bayley's attire. So you're getting 2 key aspects, and with Bayley there's a focus on the materials. Now I'm going to try and delve into the crowd in a future video if there is anything to take away from it. But what else do I take away from this screenshot? Well, we've got the Bayley buddies. They look good. they look great. And then the actual lighting, you're never quite sure. The lighting looks fantastic here from this shot, but I don't know if any sort of blur has been applied to this shot just to make Bayley stand out more. So I'm not sure, but if this is how her entrance looks, it's quite clean and it's quite concise. So I like it. And the crowd lighting as well. The crowd lighting stands out. You know, you got the vibrant pink, and I hope that crowd lighting works a bit better in this year's game, because I always felt with Create an Arena in 2K19, no matter how much lighting I applied, it didn't quite rub off on the crowd when the matchups had started. If I applied a red for Raw, you know, you couldn't quite see it when my match got underway. So I hope crowd lighting has been improved. I'm looking around the arena for anything else. There isn't too much to take away. Bayley standing on the ramp, can't say too much about it. So one other thing I think we should touch on before we wrap this one up is how Bayley looked in WWE 2K19. And let's just compare. So here are a couple of screenshots from WWE 2K19. One thing I will say about Bayley for 2K20, just an observation, she looks much more slimmed down. And I mentioned that with Lesnar, the bodies look much more tight. Goodness me, we're really going in. But I do think that. And this model, the 2K19 model, to the model we've seen with Bayley for 2K20, you can't read too much into it, but that is something I have observed. It will be great to see 2K follow this up with a face shot of Bayley to see what her scan looked like. I don't really think you can get much better. If we look at this screenshot of Bayley, she looks very much on point in 2K19 anyway. One thing that might need to be worked on is the lighting shine, and if 2K have improved the lighting, because it did look good in that initial screenshot, then maybe that will help when it actually hits the beam of someone's face. So that might actually improve the look of a superstar in an arena, but we'll have to wait and see. The main thing in terms of the attire, again, which you will notice, is that the textures of the materials on Bayley's jacket in 2K19 and her tights and top, the materials don't stand out that much. It doesn't look like they're any different. They all look like they're made from the same material. And the materials in last year's game, when you did apply them, I actually thought they were pretty good, but they just kind of applied a certain shine. And I definitely think there's been work done to make the materials on an attire look better, because that's what I'm taking away the most from this WWE 2K20 screenshot of Bayley's behind. Never thought I'd say that in a WWE video, but there you go. So anyway, I want to get your views and opinions on this. Do you think the reveal of Brock Lesnar and Bayley first has any relation to the cover of this year's game? What do you think, and what do you take away? Have you spotted anything that I haven't? But what are your first impressions of Bayley and this screenshot? Is there anything in the arena that you like or you dislike? What do you think about that white border? I have to ask that because I do think that's a little bit of a faux pas by 2K. I would have definitely tried to reshoot that shot without that white border, but there you go, that's me. I'm very articulate and very pedantic, so that's just how I would have done it. But I want to get your views, I want to get your opinions. Materials seem to be rather drastically improved this year. That's what I'll take. But now I'm handing it over to you to have your say. And now we wait until the 5th of August. Not long to go. Maybe we'll get a few more teasers on the way up to August 5th. If we do, let's keep an eye out. But for now, see ya!